Hello, what's this? Why all these teacups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who's coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, that's all very well, but I'm quite sure Aunt Augusta will not approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolen. I have come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you said you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How perfectly unromantic you are.
No, there's nothing very romantic about proposing. I mean, it is very romantic to be in love. But there's nothing romantic about a definite proposal. One may be accepted, and one usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. And if I ever get married, I will certainly try to forget the fact.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. Divorce court was specially invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
There's no use on speculating the subject. Divorces are made in heaven. Oh, and please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. I ordered them specially for Aunt Augusta.
Well, you have been eating them all this time.
Yes, but that is a completely different subject. She is my aunt. Here, have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen loves bread and butter.
Very good bread and butter it is, too.
Well, don't eat as if you're going to eat it all. You aren't married to her yet, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, first of all, girls never marry the men they flirt with. They don't think it right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. It accounts for all the many bachelors one sees all over the place these days. And secondly, I do not give my consent.
Your consent?
Yes, my dear fellow. Gwendolen is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you must clear up the whole matter of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Lane, please retrieve for me the cigarette case Mr. Worthing left here on Thursday when he was dining with me.
Yes, sir.
You mean to say you've had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you had let me know about it. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard, and I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I do wish you would offer one. I seem to be unusually hard up.
There's no good offering a reward now that the thing is found.
Well, I think it rather mean of you, Ernest. Oh, but it makes no matter. For now that I look at the inscription inside, I see that the thing is not yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times. You have no right to read what is written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
It is absurd to make a hard and fast rule about what one should and shouldn't read. Half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
Yes, I'm quite aware of the fact, but I don't propose to discuss modern culture. Simply return my cigarette case.
Yes, but this is not your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a gift from one of the name of Cecily, and you claim to know no one of that name. From little Cecily with her fondest love.
Well, if you must know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is, too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells.
Yes, but why would she call herself Little Cecily?
My dear boy, there's nothing in that. Some ants are tall and some ants are not tall. I think it is a matter that an ant should surely be able to determine for herself. You seem to think that every ant should be exactly like your ant. That is absurd. Now return my cigarette case.
Yes, but why does your aunt call you her uncle? From little Cecily, with her fondest love, to dear Uncle Jack. There's no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt. But why any aunt, no matter what her size, should call her own nephew her uncle? I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It's Earnest.
It isn't Earnest. It's Jack.
What do you mean your name isn't Earnest? I've introduced you to everyone as Earnest. You answer to the name of Earnest. You look as if your name is Earnest. You're the most earnest-looking person I've ever seen. It's on all of your cards. Here's one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany. I'll keep this as proof that your name is Earnest if you ever try to deny to me, to Gwendolen, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Earnest in town and Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given me in the country.
Yes, but that doesn't account for why your small Aunt Cecily calls you her uncle. You best have it out at once, old boy.
Algernon, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It is very vulgar to talk like a dentist when one is not a dentist. It creates a false impression.
And that is exactly what dentists always do. Please produce your explanation. And I might mention that I've always suspected you of being a secret and confirmed bunderist. I was quite thinking so.
What do you mean by a bunderist?
I will produce to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to tell me why you're Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now give me your explanation, and pray make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there's nothing at all improbable about my explanation. It's perfectly ordinary. Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was very little, made me, in his will, guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as uncle for motives of respect you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country under the tutelage of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.